I am Emily Lozeron, and I'm from Sexsmith, Alberta, Canada, which is in northern Alberta. This painting is a Redpolls Sing Vivaldi and is an acrylic painting on Baltic birch. It has evolved from my experiences of living in the north. When I came up with the idea to make a painting that incorporated music, I was sitting in a field observing birds. I was sitting there for a couple of hours, watching and listening to them sing, and I wished there was some way to incorporate more than just the visual senses in a painting. In front of me, I saw an old rickety fence and a little savanna sparrow that was sitting on the wire, singing her heart out. I went home that evening and I created a plan to put birds to music. Each of the birds are to a note of Vivaldi's concerto. As well, even the cobweb, leaves, and lilac seed pods are to a note. If you were to play it on the piano, it would be a couple of bars of music. Even the strand of wire lying over the fence post is shaped as a treble clef. When you're sitting in nature, there seems to be an ebb and flow of sounds. It seems quiet. Then, as you sit there, you seem to notice one bird, then another, and soon there's a whole cacophony of sounds, which crescendo up into an intense noise. Then suddenly, everything will become quiet for a moment, and the cycle starts all over again. I chose a redpoll specifically for my winter painting. In northern Alberta, there's not a lot of color during the winter. These little birds have just a little tuft of pink and brighten up the stark winter. And even though they are dainty and beautiful, they can withstand the harshest of winters. I waited for the majority of the winter to find these little redpolls, and when I finally found them, I spent several hours photographing them. As with any birds in the wild, you have to settle in and sit for a long time before they begin to trust you sitting there. However, once they are comfortable, then you can see their personalities. When I am painting a subject, I strive to add personality to the painting. This painting was a mixture of emotions and most notably was personal emotions during the beginning of COVID this year. The tree that separated two of the birds symbolized the social distancing that was required at the beginning of the pandemic. Then, there are a group of 3 birds in the right section of the painting that have 2 birds sparring with each other and another bird looking on. This was created to show the dynamics of my own household during this time. Both my children had been uprooted from their schedule and were home and at odds with each other, while I overlooked and tried to create some calm in the chaos. The bird on the far right of the painting is gathering food, which is also something that was on a lot of our minds during this time. Even though I created this painting for the moment in my life, everyone can place their own meaning. The goal was to be able to create a beautiful painting with elements of our lives at the moment. Each individual element of a painting and in life do not have to be pretty, but how they are all compiled together define the total outlook.